Hi, my name's Jason, and I'm going to show you guys how to put together a skateboard. First thing you're going to need to know about, these are the different tools that you're going to be using. This is called an awl, and it's used to punch holes in the grip tape. This is just a standard fix-it stick skate key, and it does a few different functions. It tightens or loosens the axles, tightens or loosens the kingpin, which is what creates the tension on the truck, which is basically the tension is how much the board will turn to the right or left. And then Phillips head for putting the mounting hardware on, which is right here and right here. And obviously razor blade for cutting the grip tape. Let's get busy. This right here, the skateboard, is called a deck. That's just the wood portion of the board. And then, of course, you've got trucks. A lot of people call them axles. They're actually called trucks. Here's the wheels, not tires. And then bearings in this vial, and the mounting hardware bolts, as well as grip tape for the non-skid surface on the top of the board. So this is how you put on the grip tape. First thing you do is you peel off the sticky backing. It's almost like a gigantic sticker. And you need to hold on to that because you'll be using it later. And the way that I do it is I use my fingers like this here and kind of measure where the tip of the nose and the tail is, kind of gauge it like that. And you look down over the top of it to make sure that you can't see any of the edges or the side rails of the board. And the way I do it is I drop it down from the middle and kind of work it out like that right there. And then kind of hand press out the air bubbles like this. And then what you do is you put it so that the really slick side of the backing of the grip tape is face up, and kind of push out the air bubbles like this. Air bubbles are just that. They're just little bubbles that are created from putting on the grip tape, and it captures air underneath and makes an uneven riding surface. You can use a regular file or whatever you like to make an outside guideline on the grip tape. So you need that as a cutting line. Okay, so there's your guide to cut. And then with the razor blade, you kind of tilt it at about a 45-degree angle, like this here, and just run along that edge. So that's the board gripped up. And the last thing to do is use this awl, and you just poke holes through the back side of it like this. And the next step is pushing the bearings into the wheels. So the way you do it is, if you're able to get a hold of one of these tools, it's probably the best skate key that there is. And this side right here is kind of like an opposite of a donut shape. And that actually, you use that to press the bearings in. And just go one at a time. And you kind of wobble back and forth just to make sure you're setting them totally straight. So the next step is actually putting the wheels on. Most truck companies have 2 washers nowadays, and so you obviously put one on either side. These little washers are used to minimize the friction that's from this axle nut to the actual bearing, so it just creates a little bit of space. And so after you tighten that, there should be a little bit of play, but not a whole lot. Yeah, you should barely be able to hear any clicking at all, like this here. That's about right. The last step for putting the board together is putting the trucks on. And in this instance, like most mounting hardware that's been coming out lately, there's one color that's a little bit different to differentiate the front of the board, which is called the nose, from the back of the board, which is called the tail. So put that up in the corner like that. Okay. Okay, now that it's all set about finger tight, you're going to use a tool again and a Phillips head screwdriver in this case. Sometimes it'll be Allen key for the bolts, which is these type, the hexagonal heads. So you're going to want to tighten it down to the point where it's not exactly flush. You want it a little bit above on the top, because if you sink it down too deep, if this part right here goes down too deep, it'll actually go into the top ply or the 7th ply, and that will it'll take away from the strength of the board at that point, so you don't want to do that. Alright, so there you have it, complete board.